Welcome to the Foundry, where leaders are forged daily. I'm your host, George Roberts. Welcome back, entrepreneurs. Today we have Esther Reizes-Lowenbein, realtor, investor, and fund manager, and founder of Esther Reizes & Company. Welcome, Esther.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, I'm excited to have you on today. I'd like to start by asking you, how did you get your start in real estate?
I am a speech language pathologist. I was doing that for many, many years. And for several reasons, I decided to switch gears and go into real estate. Some reasons being I am a mom and I have a bunch of kids and I was working with children. So it became very draining for me to work with children and then come home to children. I kind of needed that change. So that was one factor. We moved from Brooklyn to Rockland, and the speech therapy system is a little different over here. So that I was just, it was a lot more traveling involved, and I wasn't interested in that. So that was another reason. A third reason being that I just wanted to learn more. I just felt like I didn't have enough knowledge besides for speech therapy. I didn't know much else. So I decided just to start learning and, seeing what's out there. And I figured it can really work with my personality. I like meeting people, and it's a people-oriented industry. So I figured, why not try commercial real estate? That's how I got started.
All right, hey, there goes my 3-point lighting, never mind. But okay, so then you got your start, and I think you started out as a realtor, and then you moved into multifamily and other forms of commercial real estate as well.
Correct. I actually started on the residential end. The broker that I had met at the brokerage told me that I need to start on the residential end. That didn't really make sense, but I didn't mind getting to become acquainted with that side as well. So I started on the residential end, moved to the commercial space. I started transacting pretty much all assets. I'm more of like a connector than a specialist in a specific area. I just like to make connections and see what's out there. And I never limited myself to a specific asset. So I touched office, industrial, multifamily, retail, you name it, RV space, working in all assets. So I started as a realtor. Then about beginning of COVID time, one of my clients had asked me if I could help them find equity for their deal. So I quickly found equity, and then I'm like, okay, why not do this? This is really cool. It was fairly easy for me to tap into my network that I already created as a broker and find the equity for this individual. So I said, why not continue on this path and go ahead with this on this way and get involved on the equity end. So that's how I got involved on the equity end. And then I decided to take it to the next level and start a private equity commercial real estate fund to raise from LPs. So till now I've been coordinating JVs and co-GPs. Now through the fund, I'll be raising for LPs, from LPs.
Okay, so that's very exciting. You mentioned a lot of facets of real estate that I'm very interested in. You mentioned RVs. That I think is really exciting. A lot of people are interested in mobile homes, but I think of RVs as like taking it to the next level. Now you got short-term rentals with maybe a similar model where you own the land and you get to rent it.
Yeah, I'm looking into that. And then aside for all that, my husband was always involved in real estate, but not to the extent that he is right now. He started seeing what I was doing and all the deals that I was sending out to my clients, and he's like, why don't you try sending that to me? Send it to me, let me see. And he's now my biggest client. So besides for being a realtor and a capital raiser, I am purchasing my own properties, industrial, office, triple net retail assets through JVs. Actually not really raising for myself, I'm raising for others, just for fun, see how it goes. But yeah, so I'm doing a lot in this space.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I think a lot of people, they just focus on syndication, but these joint ventures can be very lucrative. A lot of advantages that I see. One is that you can hold as long as you want. You don't have investors that are itching to get out in 3 to 5 years. and you also don't need the same number of properties or unit counts. What do you like about the JV space?
Well, we just found partners that we were able to work with easily. So, and they came in with what we needed. So that just worked out for us. I think in every deal situation, it's different. It all depends on how much, control the sponsor wants to have on the deal. If the sponsor wants to remain the sole GP, then they come in as they bring on LPs. But if they don't mind sharing the GP status with another person, then they'll bring in JVs and GPs. So it all depends on what the agenda of the sponsor is.
Right, exciting. And okay, you also mentioned industrial. Why don't you tell us what you like best in the industrial space and why?
Well, right now, we see what's happening with retail. Retail is like, taking a hit. It was starting to take a hit even before COVID, due to all the online businesses and like Amazon and stuff. I think COVID just accelerated it all. So with the retail going down, the need for warehouse space grew. So right now, retail as a realtor and investor, as a realtor and investor, industrial is the hottest asset. Industrial grew. I don't know if I made a mistake over there, but the industrial asset right now is really, really high and really in demand. Everyone's trying to grab the next warehouse. So it's definitely the hottest asset on the market right now.
Exactly. And just to draw a bright line between those two events, obviously these online retailers, that's exactly what they need to do. They take over these warehouses en masse. I mean, I got one up near my house. Amazon's got a major fulfillment center near me, and it's just amazing. Anywhere that's out in the country, but yet close to some cities is potential for an Amazon or some other e-tailer to take over.
Right.
And so what is your strategy? Are you focused on operating these, or are you hoping to get bought out by Amazon or some other company? What's the angle?
So each one is its own story, kind of. Some of them we use as an end user. We have some business ourselves, so we're using parts of it for that purpose. Each one has its own. Some of them are vacant, some of them are occupied. So we're pretty opportunistic, and we see, it's a per deal basis and see what's needed there. Our goal is, we self-manage them as of now.
Is that true of all your commercial real estate or just the warehouses?
All of them.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. And then what about office space? Speaking of something that got hit a lot during the pandemic, how's the office space been for you? How's it recovering? Where do you see it going?
Office, I really feel like it depends on the exact location that it's situated in. It could even be within a city, could even be a difference between different blocks. I think it really matters on the specific location of the office, because I think and the demands of in that area. I think, some areas you see the office is in full swing, and in some areas it's hard hit, and they're converting a lot of office space into multifamily. So I guess in the areas that the office space didn't fully recover, those spaces are being converted. So I think it's also like a per location situation.
Exactly. And I was going to ask you specifically about that conversion. Are you converting any of your office space? Are you planning to do that? Do you see that as having a long runway still?
I don't want to say no, because everything that's happening is happening so fast and nothing I ever imagined. So who knows what's going to happen? We're working very fast, but as of now, we're not doing any major rehab or ground up development. It's just existing properties.
Okay, so that's interesting. So have you been doing construction in the past or interested in maybe in the future, but not now?
Who knows? We have nothing in near future, but I'm not saying no to anything.
All right, that's awesome. Well, it looks like you've taken over at least a corner of each section of the commercial real estate space. The only thing that you touched on but didn't expound on is the triple net retail. So yes, that's gotten hit really hard. Hopefully coming back. Maybe you can help us understand. I don't think everybody in the audience has even been exposed to triple net. So what's a triple net investment like?
Pretty much where the tenant takes care of all the expenses and the landlord picks up their monthly check. That's pretty much it. Usually they're, like food anchor chains or big retail, big, shops like Stop and Shop, Walgreens, like such.
Right. So you got the tenant paying the taxes, the insurance, and the upkeep of all the common areas. And that sounds like a dream, right? You just collect the check. It sounds like what a lot of people go into multifamily. I know a lot of our listeners are interested in that. They might want to become an LP in that because they get to be essentially passive or literally passive, but you get to be essentially passive in the triple net space. I mean, as far as being a direct owner, I think that's about as close as it gets.
Pretty much. That's true. That's a good point.
Right. And then maybe you could tell us some of the advantages of operating in the triple net space.
So we're like kind of new. We just we're middle of we acquired a few. And actually my husband takes care of that department, so I don't have too much to say as to managing it because he takes care of it. But we have some in-house managers that are taking care of everything, and each one's a different situation. So like one Stop and Shop that we acquired is it's turning over and renewing the lease, so we're just dealing with that right now. But managing it, there hasn't been much as of yet.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so then what about value add? What do you do to push the appreciation of these properties?
So it depends if we're using it for, as an end user, or if we're using it for other purposes. But obviously we try to maximize, every situation and asset to its fullest.
Exactly. So people look at these like a bond. I mean, I know one of the things that people are doing is if you can just get those tenants to sign a longer term lease, sometimes that can do incredible things
Yeah.
to your cap rate. Uh, okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I think the triple net space is amazing. I don't know if you know Dan Lukowitz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured Dan knows everybody. Yeah, Dan on top of all things real estate. You should watch his show as well. It's a great one.
It's on his
And
podcast.
yep. What number do you remember? Well, go look it
Oh
up. You'll
no.
find it.
No, I don't remember what number I was.
100 something. But
I think I was on
regardless,
this is like my 30th about podcast, so I can't remember all of them.
fair enough. Fair enough. And so, yeah, he always likes to talk about how he sees that as the next big thing, triple net, that is, because if you get these large tenants that have national presence, a lot of times you do get those corporate guarantees, and you can literally calculate years in advance what you're going to get. So,
Right, right.
yeah, that's the two sides of it, right? You have your local tenants, which may be easier to find, and then a lot of people who did that probably suffered a lot during COVID. And then you've got these national tenants with the corporate guarantee, and I'm sure those people were floating a lot higher.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, would you still say that triple net retail, uh, is there any sort of a discount right now through COVID, or is that all going
There's no
away?
there's no commercial real estate discount, period. Every
Yeah, fair
single
enough.
asset has its caps compressed, whether it's industrial or multifamily, mobile home parks, you name it, everything's compressed. So I don't see any discounts. And if you find them, pass them on.
Right, fair enough. Yeah, here as we speak, it's the end of September 2021. Uh, Cap rates compressed everywhere. Absolutely. Absolutely. So then I don't think we touched on the literally you're living the dream, right? You're in commercial real estate, you work for yourself, and you're able to work with your spouse. I know a lot of people they just would like to do that. They'd love to work for themselves and include the spouse. It sounds like for you, including your husband in this was pretty smooth. He saw what you're doing and said, "Hey, I like this."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't work together, meaning he has an office, I'm
Mm,
working from home. Um, he's just my client, so I present the deals,
okay.
and he has a team of people together, and they take it over from there. So we're kind of like we're in touch through the workday, but we're not technically working together. Obviously we're back and forth on the deals, but he's acting as the buyer and I'm acting as the realtor.
Okay, got it. So best of both worlds then. I like it.
Both roles. Yeah.
I always ask that question because my wife, I think, is going to be a big part of my business at some point. Right now, she's raising our two sons, and they're quite a handful. So that's yeah, double. So you are working on, as I understand, like 30 to maybe 50 deals at a time. Is that counting your commercial real estate as a realtor or what? Break it down for us.
Oh, it's a good question. I lose track. I mean, I need to hire someone to just make sure that I have everything on track. On our end as investors, there's a lot going on, and my daughter is knocking on the door.
One of
Talk
eight.
about talk about kids, yes. Let me just inform her nanny that her mama's on a call. Sorry. All right. So at different times, I'm working on many different deals, whether it's on as a realtor, as an investor, as a capital raiser / fund manager. I probably work on more than 30 at a time on all ends. It's a lot of fun. I love the hustle. I love the busyness. I don't know how to, people are like, why don't you focus on one thing, one asset? I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I just see it as connecting. So whether it's connecting this asset or that asset, it's I'm pretty much connecting deals, money, people, whatever it is, and I'm having fun in the process. I'm just enjoying it. So whatever it takes, I'm just flowing.
That's exciting. You're obviously a natural connector of people. And one of the things I love about this business, those of us who are people persons just tend to take to the team aspect of the whole thing. So then capital raising, that's one of the things that I think you're truly known for. That's where the economies of scale of commercial real estate meet the high finance. Tell us about, you told us how you got into it. So somebody just asked you, hey, can you raise some capital for this deal? And it looks like you were naturally suited to it, took off from there. But maybe you can tell us some of your secrets, tips and tricks. How did you get to where you are today with raising capital?
I think it's just a matter of connecting. Like I said, I had that network of people
Yeah.
that I just tapped into, and within 2 phone calls, I found the capital. So it's all like who you know, more like it. So it's that's pretty much it. And I've created a list of investors that I would think would be interested in in investing with others as a JV. Some people only want to take on the deal themselves, and some people are okay going with others. So I've kind of created a list, and as soon as I have a property that I'm looking to raise equity from, I'll kind of just send out a teaser and see if there's further interest. So yeah, I think having a network is the biggest thing. I go to a lot of events. I network all day. I really enjoy it. For me, it's just fun. I guess it feeds my extrovertness. So yeah, I don't really have any tricks or tips. I'm just me, and I just work hard.
All right, that's awesome. I love it. And so I am also one of those networkers. I have a commercial real estate network at noon Eastern, and probably going to move that to Thursdays. But it's just great to get into those networking meetings. And I think one of the most amazing things that you just said is that it really just flows from the quality of your network. Raising capital is all about having these deep relationships with people and being authentic. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, 100%. I really, you nailed it. You said it right.
All right, awesome. Well, let's move into the final phase of the interview. Talk about things that motivate you or your influences. Do you have any, positive quotes or big why or anything that keeps you motivated, keeps you going?
Well, for me, as every business person, there's, things that go really well and there are things that don't go well. And most of the times things don't go well, right? In the business, whether you're working as a broker and the deal didn't go through, or they found a buyer for elsewhere if you didn't have exclusive, whatever the case is. As an investor, Not every LOI you fill out comes your way. As a capital raiser, things don't always work out. So I kind of like had to learn to just like move on very quickly, and not get bogged down by the the annoyance or the lack of success, just to pick myself up and brush myself off and move on. So that was something that I really, really started abiding by, and following, and just let things flow. Whatever didn't work out for me wasn't meant to be mine. That's how I look at it. That's my attitude. So I try to stick with that.
I love it. And are there any great influences that help to forge you as a business leader?
So it's interesting, when I got started, people were like, "Oh, who inspired you to get involved?" So the answer is really nobody, because um, I just kind of like decided to dive into it. I don't even know how or why or when. My husband and I, we laugh at it. We were like, he quicker believed that I'd be like an actor on a Vegas stage than in commercial real estate. We're like, where'd it come from? We have no idea. So obviously now that I'm in the business, I look up to a lot of successful people and see what they've done. I've actually started writing articles and interviewing the people that are successful to see what their intentions were, how they got started, what makes them click, what makes them tick, what's their criteria, what they're looking for, how they go about their day, what makes them successful, pretty much. So I try to learn from the best in the business and learn from their successes and their mistakes, not to repeat the mistakes, but to learn from their successes.
That's amazing. And as speaking for me, I come from an entrepreneurial family going back at least a couple of generations. I went way different than the rest of the family. I was the black sheep. I went into bioscience and data science before I became an entrepreneur. But it's funny how I would say the apple does not fall far from the tree. But in your case, looks like your entrepreneurship just came out of this generation, and that's awesome. Because if there's one thing I would like to do, it's spread that entrepreneurial fire. I know there's a lot of people that haven't been touched by it, and they have no idea what it's like to go out there and literally forge their own path.
Yeah,
So, oh, go ahead.
no, 100%. You're so right.
So then, how about this? Maybe you could send us out with the best story from your real estate career. I know you've been involved in a lot of transactions. So you've been on the brokering side, you've been on the buy side, sell side, GP side, etc. What is the best, most exciting, hopefully heartwarming story you can tell us from one of those transactions?
It's not really a story, but I just find it very, I laugh about it. It's that I'm in contract now as a broker, selling a property. It's a $38 million office building that I'm selling as a broker. I haven't met the buyer, the seller, or seen the building. So it's just a really cool thing that I'm working from home, and sometimes things work out that way. I just find that amusing. That's a really cool factor. Any other story? I'm trying to think. There's so many. Like how we met our partner was through a charity event. We're very big into giving charity. So the event that we hosted actually in our house is where we found our partner. So we like to really show people the benefit of giving charity. You never know what good is going to come out of it. And that's our motto too, to always give back wherever we can, whether it's financially or advice or assistance, physical assistance. Wherever we can, we try to give back as much as possible, and things bounce back when you give others.
I love
So
it. Yeah. All the capable people I know, they are big on giving back. That giving back is so very important. How about one final question? What or where would you like to see yourself in 5 years? Could be personally, could be professionally. Leave it wide open.
yeah, so had you asked me this question 5 years ago, where I would be now, I would have never answered where I am right now. I wouldn't even have imagined being here. So I'm really grateful for this journey, and everything is moving so fast. So where I plan to be in 5 years, I mean, I am reaching for the moon. who knows where I'm gonna land. I am just trying to have fun in the process, and the more I can do is the more pretty much the more capital I have, the more I can assist others with. So that's my goal, to be able to help more people in the future. I don't have an exact number or metric that I'm measuring my success by, but it's I want to see my kids growing to be great children, good people, good hearts. That's personally, we should be financially independent. That's a massive goal, and just having fun doing it all, staying
I love
calm
it.
and positive and giving back.
And I would say definitely, if I were to guess, way more on the side of taking massive action as to being somebody who is more of a planner, more methodical. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'm very realistic, down to earth. I like to get moving. I don't have time to rehash things and meditate. I don't meditate and all that stuff. I'm very exactly action based.
I love it. I think I heard you say once that whenever you make a goal, you just blow through it anyway, right? So it's all about
I
just
don't
getting,
really like to set goals.
yeah.
That's I don't I'm a very goal oriented person, and I like to get things done. So I'm very self-determined. I guess the people that are lacking that, maybe they set goals, but for me, I automatically like to achieve. For myself, I like to challenge myself, see how far I can go. So
Well, I love that. And for those of you who know Esther, you know already that she's headed to the moon. But as for this podcast, I think it's time to say the eagle has landed. Thank you very much for coming on my show, Esther.
my pleasure. Thanks for having me.